Kia ora tātou. These notes were prepared at the kitchen table. So we won't have a repeat of my opening remarks. But first of all, I do want to thank you all for coming and blessing us with your presence over the last couple of days. It really has been wonderful to see you all again. And we've had such a wonderful time sharing as well. You might recall that I said when I spoke first the other day that I shudder to think what would have happened to our whānau if you weren't in the communities during COVID. And actually, from what we've heard in the last couple of days and the sharing that you've done, I'm absolutely now more convinced that it would have been quite chaotic, if not a bloody disaster, in our communities. So I do want to thank you for your efforts. And I want to thank you also for sharing over the last couple of days the reality of what it was like for you to have to move quickly, to stand up services, all of those sort of things that sometimes we understand that these things happen, but when we really hear from those that were doing it, it just makes us realize the value of the work. And so I would like you to take back to the rest of your teams back home the grateful thanks of my board, because we do appreciate what was done. I was thinking the other day, actually, I had an opportunity many years ago to talk to the author of this book. Some of you might have heard about it, From Good to Great, and Jim Collins. And of course, what he talked about with when organisations make a significant change, it is very much dependent on visionary leadership. And that, of course, is what I have seen over the last couple of days. We were good at our mahi, but I think the dial is moving, it's shifting, and we're going from good to great. So we cannot be satisfied with how things were before. We've had an opportunity to shine, and indeed we have. And in this book, he also said that, Jim Collins said that really we should all be working in organisations where we're passionate about the mahi. And if we're not passionate about the mahi, then why would you want to stay and spend 8 hours or so working for an organisation where you're not, it just doesn't light your fire. And I think what we know now, certainly, is that Whānau Ora does light the fire for everybody here in this room. So, excuse me. But I did ask him one question, and I said to him, can organisations such as government departments go from good to great? And straight like that, he said, never, never. And that amazed me because there were some significant senior officials in that audience. And I was sort of rather taken aback. He said, no, he said, because they never dream the dream. That's what he said. He said, organisations that go from good to great, they are the dreamers of the dream. And that's what we have to always hold in front of us. If our whānau at present don't have the capacity to dream, and for many they don't. They've been living in Struggle Street for such a long time, they can't even come up for air often. But what we can do is we can dream the dream for them. And if we dream the dream for them and support them, then you will see they'll go from good to great in their own whānau as well. But those are the organisations that go from good to great, where they have visionary leadership, that has the ability to articulate a vision, marshal the resources, and drive that vision into existence. And that is what I have seen in the last couple of days by everyone who has spoken and the mahi that's been done by you and your teams at home in the last couple of years. I do want to, it was also mentioned before by Awarangi, and thank you for that summing up. It was a great summing up that Awarangi did. But I do want to make mention of the National Party. You might be surprised, but no, the National Party, if you'll remember, during that, when they were the government, and the Party Māori went to the national government, well, spoke to the national government at the time about Whānau Ora and what we believed it could do. And really, that's where Whānau Ora started with the funding, and it was from actually the National Party. And we have had a member of the National Party here with us, and she's always here with us. Hipako, that's right. And she's been here with us in the last couple of days. And so we had the support of Bill English at the time, John, and he was absolutely so supportive, and he always was very supportive of you, Te Ururoa, and also, of course, Tariana. So, so we don't want to ever forget where our support came from in those early times. So one of the things that I always say, and I have at every opportunity, I always say we should become absolutely fixated on telling our whānau that they have unlimited potential. And a couple of times someone said, oh, Merepeka, you know the reality for some of our whānau. And I said, I know the reality for some of our whānau when they always hear they're either mad, bad or sad, or they're heavy duty. It's heavy lifting with some of our whānau. So why don't we change the narrative and tell them that they have unlimited potential, and tell them that they were destined for greatness, never to be on their knees. And the longer we tell them, and the more often they hear it, then hopefully that will become inculcated, and they will also pick up that they have every right to be making a contribution not only to their own whānau and their whānau's growth, but also to the ongoing development of our beautiful country, Aotearoa. That's their right. That's their right. And so I think that as I say, I always take every opportunity to say to our whānau that you have unlimited potential. I want to now, in closing, I want to thank you very much, John. John is our CE, and he's been here for, like myself, right since the inception. But John is a hard-working and committed, well, you could say employee, but it's not only that, but John is absolutely, and leads the team in the National Office, of course, and he is such a worker. John says to me often when we're going to Wellington, he says, well, you talk first because everybody likes you. And he said, I'll come in with the kicker, which is pretty much what he does, actually. But he's not known for diplomacy in Wellington, but that's the great thing, is that actually we work well as a team, John, and I do thank you for your support. And in closing, what I'd like to do, in the next 12 months, we have 13 collectives around the country, and I would like to come visit with every collective. So I think I can get away once a month, and I'd like to come to your own areas and actually personally thank your teams that have done such a great work. I know that you'll take our thanks back to them, but I'd like to personally come and I think I should start here in Te Aroha, of course, but next year, I think once a month I'll be able to get out, and I look forward to receiving an invitation from you to come visit. So again, thank you so much for coming, for being with us, and really we should, as I'm so pleased that we took the opportunity to actually honour the work that you have done. Nō reira ngā mihi kia koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora.
Bye.